Welcome back to Joe Stone Unboxing. My apologies for the voice. I've got the COVID thing going on. Yeah, if I cough a lot, you know the reason why. No big deal. Just sorry if it affects the video here. But Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk 2. The price has been set. It is £27 minus a shilling, and it's going to be on Sky Sports box office. And there is the predictable outrage about this, the fact that it is the most expensive boxing pay-per-view of all time in Britain, and it's an increase of £2 on the previous Usyk Joshua match, and a lot of people are stamping their feet, clenching little fists, furrowing their brow, scowling. Terrible, isn't it? Yeah, really terrible. Okay, well, let me point out a few things about this fight. First of all, it's in Saudi Arabia. And if you know anything about boxing, if you know anything about politics, you'll know that Saudi Arabia's human rights record is a fucking disgrace, okay? There is no way on God's green earth anyone should be doing business with the Saudis, but they do. Oh, yeah. It's because they own the oil. They're our mates, aren't they? Of course they are, yeah. All that talk of freedom and, laissez-faire capitalism, it applies when it comes to the Saudis because, they got the power, they got the money, they got, you get all these rich kids going over there and swanning around and in Saudi and Dubai and Abu Dhabi and so on. It's a big deal because it's like a very ostentatious environment, and you can think that you're the big I am, as if, soaking yourself amidst all the wealth is going to rub off on you, and you're really just a multi-millionaire in waiting. And it doesn't really matter where that money and power came from. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. It's kind of like the Kinahan thing. You get a lot of these little wannabe gangsters and wannabe drug dealers loving Kinahan and the whole Kinahan Hutch situation because they themselves want to be like that, even though they're really just fucking infantile kids. But anyway, that's the fight for you. It's in Saudi Arabia, a fucking disgrace of a country, basically a fascist theocracy. Okay, so there's that. Then there's the issue of Anthony Joshua, who is, man of the people, very well media trained. Don't tell me he hasn't got any power. Don't tell me he hasn't got the right to say, actually, I don't want that I don't want this fight in Saudi Arabia. I want this fight in, a more civilized country, a country which, isn't highlighted by Human Rights Watch as being less than humane to its workers, or doesn't, execute homosexuals, or, isn't just ruled by one family, which Saudi is, the House of Saud, of course. You got Anthony Joshua, the man of the people. Don't tell me he couldn't have accepted a smaller paycheck. He couldn't have, with his status, even though he is actually the challenger in this fight, he is the money machine. And don't tell me he couldn't have taken a pay cut of 10, 15, maybe 20 million quid. Don't tell me he couldn't have afforded that for this fight to be in some civilized country, okay, where, these issues wouldn't be prevalent and wouldn't even be spoken about because they wouldn't exist. Now, he's a man of the people, of course, Joshua. He's everyone's mate. He's media savvy, media trained, blah, blah, blah. But then, of course, a lot of people will say, well, it's a short career, isn't it, boxing? And we've got to make as much money as we can. If you were in the same position, you'd do the same thing, which I wouldn't. No, I would not. But, Anthony Joshua's made, I don't know how many, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, 200 million, 300. I don't even know how much he's made. But put it this way, he won't be using any food banks anytime soon. And neither will any of his great-great-great-great-grandkids, not unless there's some sort of, zombie apocalypse or something and everything gets lost. I mean, he's set his entire family up for generations to come, okay? And Usyk ain't short of a few fucking quid either, okay? And by the way, don't think I'm picking on Joshua, because Fury would have done the same fucking thing. He's just as bad as Joshua, man of the people, my ass, all right? Don't give me that shit. Just a load of crap, So there's that issue. But you know, a lot of these people said nothing about this. It's in Saudi Arabia. Who cares? You know, well, Joshua. You know, he's all right. You know, let him get on with it. You know? Okay. Then you got Adam Smith, Eddie Hearn, all the behind the scenes executives to the respective companies that are involved with this fight. Right? Do you really think they care about what's in your wallet unless you're emptying your wallet for them? Do you really think they care that you've got any money left after you've bought their product? Do you really think that they care that you're actually getting value for money? I suppose they do care about the latter point, because if you don't get value for money, you may actually vote with your wallet. But no. It's not about giving value for money. It's about squeezing the rag dry. It's about throttling the golden goose so it squeezes out enough gold without actually strangling it. And this is what Hearn does. This is what Adam Smith does. This is what all corporate, capitalistic purveyors of free market, so-called free market economics. It's not free at all. Fair market is what I prefer, but free market economics, this is what the purveyors of that preach. So Eddie Hearn, he ain't that fussed. It's, you know, a record-breaking pay-per-view event, you know, in terms of having a record-breaking in the sense that you've got to pay more for it than any other fight before. He doesn't care that there's a shit undercard. Neither really does Adam Smith. It's all about these companies making money. And okay, I accept Hearn's not involved with it. You know, it's on Sky. But if the boot was on the other foot and DAZN had it, Hearn he'd be doing the same thing that Sky are doing. Matchroom would, DAZN would. It's all about making money. They're not your mates, right? It's like with fighters. They talk about, you know, the relationship between promoters and fighters. Promoters are not fighters' friends. They may have a good working relationship, but the moment that fighter starts losing fights, they're gone. They're gone. And it's the same with punters. You know, if you've got money, they want it. Okay? If you haven't got any money, they're not interested in you. Doesn't matter if you've bought 20 pay-per-views before. They're not interested in you anymore. Let's say that you're someone who, you know, you ain't got a lot of money, and God knows in this day and age, a lot of people haven't got a lot of money, and you bought a dozen pay-per-views in the past between 15 quid and 20 quid, or even 25 quid. And suddenly you're thinking, oh, I can't afford any more. You know, 25 was pushing it, but 27, come on, man. All right, don't watch it then. That's their attitude. Don't watch it. You can't afford it. Tough luck, mate. Tough luck. It's vulture capitalism, okay? And you shouldn't complain about it if you supported it in the past. It's the way it is. So I don't have any sympathy for anyone taking sides with Adam Smith, Hearn, Sky, Matchroom, whoever you care to mention. I don't know. They're all a bunch of panthers. They're all a bunch of, you know, killers as far as what in that bag is concerned. They're not interested in you, what you can afford. They don't want to overprice it. You know, overprice being, I mean, let's say they made the jump from 25 to 50. That would have been a real outrage. But they know that at a couple of quid, or most people are going to say, it's only a couple of quid. And in 3 years' time, it will be 40 quid or 45 or 50, because they'll incrementally increase it. And you are someone who has bought into this idea of pay-per-view, so you won't have any remit to complain, because you were buying into it. You were saying, it's only a couple of quid, it's only another 3 quid, it's only another fiver. Well, it's a big fight, you know. So it's 50 quid. Like in America, where they used to pay $100 for a fucking fight, one of those shit Mayweather fights. Fucking mugs. You know, the stupidity of the masses on occasion should never be underrated. I mean, a lot of people are just crazy. So why am I mentioning all this stuff for the last 9-10 minutes, whatever it is? It's because if you're one of those people that ignored everything I've talked about, and now you're throwing your toys out of the pram over a £2 increase in pay-per-view, I don't have a lot of sympathy for you. I really don't. We live in a time where, I mean, I had some, you know, I recently had some dental work done, okay? Yeah? And, you know, I had to go to the walk-in centre. I'm not registered with a dentist. I had to go to the NHS walk-in centre. and get cancellations or whatever I could on the day, because there's a waiting list between 2 and 3 years in my area for an NHS dentist. All right, and I mean, I worked, so I was paying something. But if I'd gone private, it would have been thousands. I paid hundreds, but it would have been thousands. All right, again, because an aspect of health is left to the market, the free market, which isn't free at all. It's turning health into a commodity and you know, consumer patients into consumers. So when this sort of thing's going on and you've got inflation, which is rocketing through the roof, largely because of this, you know, the sheer stupidity of the last few years, where we've had these completely unnecessary lockdowns over something that, while serious, could have been handled in such a better way. I mean, I've got COVID right now. There ain't no fucking barrel of laughs. I'm not the youngest of people anymore, but, you know, and I've had worse. Don't get me wrong. I mean, when I cough, it feels like I've got sandpaper on my fucking lung. It's not nice, but at the same time, you don't shut down the whole of society and push everything to one side just for one thing. Not if you've got any fucking semblance of common sense. But they did it. They did it. Now, all this shit's happened. You know, people have lost jobs. No one's had a pay increase. Funny how no one's had a pay increase, and yet inflation's through the roof. It's almost like inflation is engineered by profits and not pay. Isn't that a strange thought? Have a think about that one. No one's had a pay rise, but yeah, of course, inflation goes through the roof. Food costs more. The NHS is getting ground down systematically and ideologically by the Tories, but there we are. And by the way, I don't want to hear anyone in the comments saying, don't bring politics into it. Fuck you. I am bringing politics into it. You know why? Because your politics are your morals. And morals, okay, are lacking in modern society, okay? All the things that you take for granted, especially a lot of the younger people take for granted, had to be fucking fought for by previous generations, going back further than me, going back to my fucking grandparents, who'd be well over 100 years old if they were around now. And you're just shitting it away, all right? As long as you've got your fucking iPhone and you can stick 50 tweets out a day, you're fine, aren't you? But have a think about life. Have a think about the society you live in. Think about it sensibly, okay? Yeah, £2 on top of pay-per-view it's not good. 27 quid to watch a boxing match, in my opinion, is a fucking disgrace. But there are far greater things that you should have been thinking about before you started pissing your panties over the price of a boxing match. There are more important things. Because if you had thought of them, if you had thought about the fact that maybe it's not morally right that the Saudis have got hold of this fight, or that actually, you know, increasing from 15 quid to 20 quid for a pay-per-view was taking the piss. If you'd have thought about it, you might have boycotted it for the long-term good, regardless of whether you want to watch the fight. And guess what? You haven't got the excuse of saying, but I want to watch the fight. It's not there. I want to watch the fight. You want to watch the fight, do you? Stream the fucking thing, you cretin. I've been doing it for fucking years. The technology's there. What, you feel guilty that you're taking money out of those fuckers' pockets? You must be higher than a fucking eagle's bollocks if you think that there is anything immoral about taking a few quid out of the likes of Eddie Hearn, Adam Smith, Anthony Joshua, and those fucking Saudi cunts. All right? Get a grip. Get a grip. Okay? You don't have to abide by the laws that are passed down from those on high who've got all the money. We have the modern technology to watch a fight by streaming. And no, it's not ideal because sometimes it freezes up or whatever. And yeah, but you know what? If it means we put a stop to this nonsense, maybe long term it's worth it. You understand? Playing the long game. If you don't want to do that, bend over, separate your cheeks, and let Hearn, Adam Smith, The Zone, Sky, the Saudis fuck you up the arse. Okay? I think I've made my point. Thank you very much. If you're new to the channel and I haven't scared you off, subscribe. If you didn't like the video, unsubscribe. Or hit the dislike button. Or hit the like button if you like the video. But even if you don't like anything I said, thanks for watching anyway. I do appreciate it, actually. I do appreciate your time. Have a think about what I've said. And stream the fucking fight. Power to the people.